definitely know I could listen to Ava forever. So, but I guess I'm just a fan of my colleagues from St. Louis. They do great work. All right.
We're a fan of yours too, Kevin. And I miss that, Kevin is a good veteran of going to San Diego and doing this. So I feel very fortunate that he's with us today. Go ahead, Kevin.
Well, I just got back from the West Coast, so I've got my tan, so I feel like I was kind of there. So that's good. All right, I'm going to show you a website that hopefully you've seen before. This is called Google. This is where you search for things in the world. Now, the Federal Reserve, we have kind of our own version of Google here as well. And our version of Google is federalreserveeducation.org. And on this is kind of our unified site. So you'll find here information on learning opportunities, publications, resources, general information about the Fed. Basically, it's a one-stop shop for everything you could ever want to know that's related to our educational resources that are available and programming. So it's a great way, as I said, I kind of refer to it as our Google. So from this site, there's a lot of things you have the access and the opportunity to do. You can, drop that there so I can see the chat. You can, as I said, look at a variety of things. So just going to give you a quick tour of the sites and the interactions, find a few things, have a quick discussion, and then we'll be on our way because it's Friday. It's of course the end of the program. I'm sure everyone would like to get out just a few minutes early, so we'll see what we can do. So the first thing you'll notice is, obviously, there is a lovely search tool. You will find any of our resources here. So anyone in the chat just kind of want to me a topic of something they're interested in. It doesn't have to be related to what we've done the last couple of days. It could be a personal finance topic or another type of topic within economics. Messages are coming in. All right. When I see saw first was opportunity cost. So type opportunity cost, it automatically then searches for and brings up all the resources that are available. So here are the resources that come up. There's a podcast, and there are 2 online courses, one for consumers, that would be for non-students or college students or adults, and then one for a K-12 audience, specifically 9 to 12. You'll be able to then see the age, what it is, if it's a series, if it's an activity, if it's a module, and also then what bank put that resource out here. So click on opportunity cost, and a link will automatically open up to the page on the bank's website that put that resource out there. So instead of having to search all of the Federal Reserve banks, try to find that resource you heard about, which bank was it? I know it's the Fed, but I can't remember who that person was. This is a way to really get that down. And you can then see the activity, see what's available, and be like, yeah, I definitely want my students to do this. And, oh, look, it's a part of Econ Lowdown. I can use that program that Ava just talked about right there. So this is one way you can do that. So you can just, like I say, pick that topic. You can also, let's just say I want to try something a little different. I want something for my 9 to 12 audience, and I want it to be, a comic book. There we go. Sometimes it just is not my friend. All right, so resource by audience. I want that 9 to 12. Go ahead and click that. It brings up everything in the entirety. So right now there's 845 resources available for high school students. All right, now I want to go with that comic book. So I'm going to click comic book, and boom, here we go. There are 2 comic books available from, as you can see, they're all from the New York Fed, Story of the Federal Reserve, and Once Upon a Dime. So let's learn a little bit about Once Upon a Dime. Click that link. We'll open up the page on the New York Fed's website where you can learn about the resource as well as order copies. So the value of this is you, again, don't have to know exactly where that resource came from. You don't have to worry about where and which Federal Reserve produced it. It's a way you can kind of just look for resources that work. So thinking about today, we learned a lot about some central banking. So let's go ahead and take comic book off, and let's go with a infographic. So we can see there's a variety of infographics that came up here. Your connection to the economy and the Federal Reserve from the Richmond Fed, and Dissent, no stranger in the history of the FOMC, an infographic from St. Louis. So if you wanted that print document, you'll be able to click that again. And very quickly, we'll take you to the website where you can read about it and then order and print that document. So as a way to kind of quickly, very efficiently find resources about the Federal Reserve and the resources that we have available for teachers to use with their students. The other things on the website are a variety of things beyond just the ability to find our resources. So today we're all in, this institute, and we've got presenters from several different reserve banks. And you're like, okay, I wanted something from, what was the name of that lesson? I can't remember. Oh, but I know the person was from Atlanta. So you can click the specifics to the banks. You can then go through the list, find Atlanta, and you can do then one of two things. You can go to their public site, or you can click the View Resources and find all the resources that the Atlanta Fed has posted on here. So it's just another way to go, okay, I know it's Atlanta resource. I want to go find it. Here it is. So there's that price stability activity and infographic that we learned about. So perfect. Here we go. I can now order it, get that activity, that lesson. So it's a way to speed your life along. You don't have to do as much searching as well as just trying to remember. Because I'll be honest, when I was in the classroom and I would go to a conference or an institute, I would feel bombarded by things that I wanted. And half the time I would come back and then try to read my notes 3 months after, later, because I usually took summer institutes, and I'm planning for the new school year, and I can't read my own handwriting because I was rushed, and oh well, I guess I'll just do what I've always done. So this gives you a way to know, hey, I know what Federal Reserve it was. I can go find that resource. Oh, I can just go to federalreserve.org, education.org, and find that resource. So there's a variety of things you can do by narrowing down by resource type, by specifically the Federal Reserve Bank and their district. Also here you can get virtual learning opportunities. So when we have our virtual conferences like this or upcoming events, so you can see this was earlier this week and this is happening right now. Oh, look, next week, there's inflation in the U.S. economy, price pressures affecting consumers. So educators are allowed to join. Feel free to click there and you'll be able to take them to the registration page. You can say which Federal Reserve Bank is putting this on as that loads. Sorry, it's loading a little slow. My connection has decided to slow down this afternoon. All right, so clearly the Kansas City Fed's putting this on. You can see the time, learn a bit more about it, and then if you're interested, go ahead and you can register for that. And like all Federal Reserve activities and resources, they will be free of charge to you. All right, last major thing here is order publications. Obviously, not everything's digital in this world. So if you know there's a specific document or resource you have, you can go here. It's a uniform place that you can go. So rather than having to go to each individual bank's website for a print publication, you can click here, you put in your information, and you can then select the resources you want. So you'd put in your information and say, okay, I want some dollars and cents. I want some gross domestic product and Y budget. Those were the ones I want. Perfect. Oh, look, I want something from Cleveland. I want Great Minds. So it breaks it up by the banks as well as what they are. And you can click through and hit submit. And each of the banks will receive this request and process it independently. So instead of having to go to 5 or 6 different reserve banks because you want resources from all of us, this is one place you can go again to get that one resource order placed in one location. Great way to do that. We also then feature some resources at the bottom here. These change out over time. Currently, Econ Lowdown, Tools Teaching with Fred and Fraser are the 3 that are being highlighted. All right, the last major thing I'm going to mention here is about the Fed. So within here, you can learn about our history, our structure, our functions, more about the districts, some more about our history, specifically the Federal Reserve Centennial, and then the tourism programs. So let's kind of glance with that one. So here we can learn about the program we're in right now, the Federal Reserve Institute, but also eConnections, tools for teaching financial literacy. Then we can see that, oh, changing economics, teaching economics in changing times. Town halls. Oh, look, there's videos and press releases. I can see the previous events that have been occurred. So even if it's something that's in the past, I can get access to it. What's that basic question about the Fed? How's it structured again? Boom, one shot. Here's all the information you need. It tells you how the Federal Reserve is set up, how it works, what the Board of Governors does, what the Reserve banks do, how the FOMC works. All the information, simple, clear, because I know the last thing I wanted to do was be able to not stand in front of my students and quickly and clearly show that I knew the answers that they were going to ask the questions to. Because let's be honest, only so many times you can turn it around and say, why don't you go find the answer, bring it back and we can discuss it and make it a learning opportunity, because in truth, we don't know the answer either. So we need that time to go check the answer out ourselves. So this is another place you can go to learn some basics about the Fed, who we are, what we do, without having to dig too far into it.
Hey, Kevin, we
Yes.
do have a question in the chat. Could you show the resource that is about the new monetary policy tools that they heard about yesterday?
Absolutely. I'm going to type in monetary policy. All right, and this is assigned for 9 to 12. And I know for a fact that that is from St. Louis Fed. So we'll narrow it down. So the Fed's new monetary policy tools, the Fed one, the page 1 is there. Teaching the tools of monetary policy would be right there. So either of those links, I'm sure both of those were discussed yesterday. So let's just go ahead and click this one. As previously shown, it would take you to this. You can read the classroom resources that are available. For all of these are the resources. So it's a great place and great way. The articles, the blogs, the webinars, and the information on badging, which I know I'm thrilled with, and a lot of the teachers here in the 5th district where I teach are thrilled about badging. They think it's the greatest thing. So I'm super excited that that's been put together, and I want to thank St. Louis for doing it. So our teachers are happy about that. So you're like, okay, here's the latest page 1. I'll go ahead and click that from there. So without having to, again, remember where that was specifically on a website, write the entire URL down, or do a long web search on Google, I can go to federalreserveeducation.org, type in that quick thing, and then find those resources specific to what I was looking for. So you can then see the page 1 right there. And then obviously you can be here and be like, oh, well, here's some additional resources on that topic. You could then even unclick St. Louis, and other resources from other Federal Reserves within the system, such as Atlanta or San Francisco or Dallas, will come up as well at that time. So you can find additional resources that might help you. Along those lines, earlier someone was talking about like fiscal and monetary policy. That could be something you could be interested in. You might want to then do a specific search on that topic. So a variety of things are available. And again, all of these resources, all these materials are free to you as teachers and to your students to use. Any questions or specific resource you want me to delve into and show you what's available?
I don't see any additional questions in the chat right now.
Okay. Well, I am, with that, going to turn it over to Eva a little early, because then we can get out of here a little early, just like our students would like to do.